Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Tech. I'm your host, Noah Eltringham, part of the digital marketing department. I'm here today with our founder, Walt Ball. Hi, Walt.
Good morning, Noah.
How's it going?
Going well.
Just wanted to bring you in today to talk a little bit about the history of IT Edge as a company. We've been around for a while, and
Sure.
I'm a relatively new hire, so I don't know all the lore behind it.
Okay, good. I'll be able to give you a little bit of history on the business.
Exactly, yeah.
So we started in 1994, and I decided I had been working for a couple small businesses, so I built some small business experience as their IT guy and also their controller. Mm-hmm. So a blend of bookkeeping and IT support.
Yeah.
And just found, wasn't real happy with the pay and wanted to kind of do my own thing. Always had a desire to help people. So in 94, I started building up a little bit of a client base, like after hours while I was still working full time.
Okay, yeah.
And actually by 94, I had built up enough where I was able to break into, starting my own business. So that meant no more working part-time for other people. I'm now going to different places, helping clients, one at a time. So started literally with maybe at that point, 10 to 12 clients needing support here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And rolled that way for a couple of years. I had some strategic partners, guys to do wiring, guys to do server, but I was kind of the point man for the client and the guy setting up the workstations and making sure, all their needs were met.
Right.
One client would then refer another, and one led to another, and built up to a point where I guess by like 97, I got to the point where I couldn't keep up with the demand as one person. One of the things we were doing back then, which I look back and laugh at now, is I was actually building computers in my basement. Like literally, you hear those stories about the guy building computers in his basement.
Right.
That was me. And it was kind of funny, so my wife would laugh because I would then go up to the third floor of our house where I had my office area and I'd be in a suit. And the reason is I didn't know if I was going to be called out or not, so I'd always get dressed and prepared for the day. But things went well. We were blessed with lots of leads, lots of referrals, kept the head down, worked hard, and realized I need some help here.
Yeah.
So that began the fun process of trying to find and hire someone.
Yeah.
So I had known a couple guys. We tried to work together, with something, but we weren't a good match for each other for, a variety of reasons. Mm-hmm. And then in 1998 was like a really key year because that's when I met Bob Kwiatkowski. Mm-hmm. So I was interviewing, met Bob, realized, okay, this guy is going to school. Back then you would go to school actually for getting certified in Microsoft networking.
Okay.
And then after he did that 8 hours a day, he worked for the company that was the school.
Oh, okay.
He was doing network support and stuff for them. So I'm like, wow, so this guy goes to school for 8 hours, works for 8 hours, probably goes home, eats, sleeps, and then repeats.
Right, lives IT.
I like that work ethic.
Yeah.
So Bob was 19 at the time.
Oh, wow.
Which was kind of interesting. I'm 14 years older, so doing the math, I'm 33, he's 19. Brought Bob on board, and he was the perfect second person, right? The first two attempts didn't work out. They were short-lived. And I'm proud to say to this day, Bob is still with us.
Yeah.
He is not only Vice President of Technology, he's eventually going to be the owner of IT Edge when I resign or retire. So just kind of jumping back into 98, Bob and I, the nice thing about having just one other person, you do everything together.
Right.
So training was super easy. We would literally go everywhere together, do bench work together. And Bob being a bright guy, hard worker, quick learner, all the right ingredients, including great personality with the clients.
Yeah.
Bob's bar, kind of like myself, we have our own version of a good job.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That typically exceeds what a client would expect. So we really don't need their encouragement to do good work. We're just built that way.
Right.
So we've always built it on getting to know the client, listening to what their needs are, where we're truly consulting, right? We're not selling something, we're listening, and then what fits this client best, getting that implemented and then being available for support. So as you know, we worked together, more and more clients came on board, and then Bob and I had a mentality of, wow, we're putting in like 70, 80 hours a week. We need another person.
Yeah.
So we would really stretch ourselves because we wanted to make sure that if we hired somebody, we had enough work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then of course 2 became 3. And I look back and I remember this guy, Keem, we hired, and he worked with us for a couple years. And then there were a few issues, like, you know, inevitably something comes up, or employees have other goals or desires.
Right.
So we rotated a couple of people through that third tech. And then, you know, 3 became 4, 4 became 5, and now we had this kind of nice base of, you know, employees to help out with all the client requests.
Yeah.
So there were 2 key things that helped us in our growth. One was we worked with a company called Title Support Services.
Okay.
They're a software developer, and they have the best database program for title agencies. And this is back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So I met them at a client of mine, and they liked the way our network was set up for their client. You know, they're putting the software on the machine, everything works smooth. They had some other clients in the area where their software wasn't going on right because the network wasn't set up right.
Okay.
So inevitably they said, hey, we're going to refer IT Edge in. We would go ahead and do our thing and kind of pave the way for their program to go on smooth. Well, their program was very popular. So the next thing you know, we have 20, 30 title agencies all using the same software. So I'm like, wow, we love you guys.
Yeah.
You're bringing us, you know, business. We've never had a salesperson in the entire history of IT Edge. It's all been referral based.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were based out of Annapolis, Maryland. So they asked, could you come down and help some clients in the Maryland area?
Mm-hmm.
So we said, sure. And now Bob and I are getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning. We're driving 2 hours to different locations in suburbs of Baltimore and DC. And it got to the point where we had enough clients, we opened a satellite office in Annapolis.
Yeah.
Found a guy down there who was great. That ran well for the better part of 5, 6 years, but when he left, we couldn't ever find a good replacement. Having a young family, for both of us, it was just kind of like, you know what, this is too much. So we ended up finding somebody down there and steward the clients to that IT company, and closed up shop in Annapolis. So just kind of jump into some other of the highlights. Business is going well. We have a lot of clients. We're recurring, you know, activity with them. One big milestone was in the old days, Bob and I are in the field. We're taking support calls while we're setting up and working with other clients.
Right.
So we're sitting there with the phone like this, setting up somebody else's computer, walking this other client through an issue. So one of the happiest moments in the history of IT Edge was when we hired a person to be on the help desk. They didn't go in the field.
Right.
They were there to take the calls, and if we got a call, we could say, hey, I'm going to call back to the shop. I'll have Noah reach out and help you. Mm-hmm. And just having that was awesome. So that's been a real central part to the business's growth and success. And at this point now, we have a full-time service manager, Craig Crisafoli, who is amazing. He's like the glue. Mm-hmm. For all things service. He's been with us 8 years. He's super experienced. When the help desk guys, you know, are struggling, something new comes up, he's that elevated resource to troubleshoot.
Right.
And now we're up to 4 guys on the help desk. So at any given day, we have that many people to answer the incoming calls, answer the emails. A lot of clients will email support requests. So yeah, the help desk has just been amazing. That lets the guys in the field, the account managers, focus on whatever we're doing with the client and not have to worry, are the other clients being supported?
Right, takes a load off your shoulders, I imagine.
Yeah, it really did. That was such a relief, right? You make a little less money, but your quality of life is so much better.
Right.
And then eventually, you know, that worked itself out. So just kind of jumping around a little bit, but another big milestone was in 2008. I had a background in programming, took it in college like most computer science people do, but
Yeah.
was never really a good programmer. So just like going way back in time, I hit the fork in the road and I'm like, do I want to code all day long or do I want to do network support and setup?
Yeah.
Which I chose.
Right.
But I had a background in software. So as I'm working with my clients, setting things up, it became apparent that some clients had a need where there wasn't a program off the shelf that they could just get. So we used Microsoft Access, which is a programming language, to customize. And one of the first ones we did was for the Mainline Chamber of Commerce. We called it Chamber Tracker. And it was really just a database of all of their clients that they could do mailing lists from. They could bill for renewals, activity. And as time went on, we ended up having, probably about 6 or 10 clients that needed this custom stuff. So one of the interns we had hired out of Westchester University, he was a software guy and he was handling all that. But as time went on, I didn't have enough type of work for him for that. So in steps 2008. Frank Cabrera is somebody I was introduced to from a friend. So, just a mutual acquaintance.
Yeah.
And Frank had his own little IT business with him and another guy. He decided, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to run a company and handle those aspects. I just want to service the clients. So he was looking for a place to steward his clients.
Okay, yeah.
We met, hit it off right away, and then decided, okay, we'll go ahead and take on your clients, which was probably 30, 40.
Oh, great, yeah.
So that's a nice chunk of, and one of the reasons we've had growth over the years. There was another person, same thing, smaller batch of a dozen clients. We ended up picking up twice a batch of clients. But what I noticed with Frank is I'm like, okay, you are really bright. Like he can figure anything out. I can't. I am not good at digging. I'm good at listening and servicing a client.
Right.
Trying to, figure out the technology for him. Not necessarily my strongest suit. So Frank knew software super well, and he had a CRM program that he was running at the time, which is a customer relationship management is what CRM is. And pretty much every business has a CRM to track their clients and monitor things. And a lot of times it's through a sales process. They want to, track the leads, see how things are closing, do all that stuff. So he was in that world and it was a perfect blend. He came on and instead of just taking the clients, I offered him a job, which he accepted. And now he and Mike, who was my incumbent software guy, started really taking off in the CRM world. We were using a program that was just an add-in to Outlook back in the day and realized this thing's limited and it has a short lifespan. We could see the end was coming. So Frank decided to get certified in Salesforce. And poof, our software development division was born. And I'm happy to report that has grown. So now we've had as many as 5 programmers, and all they do all day long is consult, configure, set up, customize Salesforce to meet client needs.
Okay, yeah.
These are very different clients than what we do on the IT side. Typically, they're much larger clients that have a good sized budget for Salesforce is pricey to begin with for the subscription, then the customization. So that part, has just kind of flowed nicely. So Frank runs that side, gives us some diversity, a whole nother revenue stream. And then we'll jump to 2020 because that's when I met Braden Swindler. So I met Braden through a Young Life area director. IT Edge and myself personally are big advocates of Young Life. It's a Christian organization that talks to, basically there's college students mentoring high school students with the challenges of life. Wish I had that when I was in high school.
I know, right?
But 2 of my children did get that benefit, had some really great leaders, mentor them. So we just saw the value in that and partnered with them both personally and as well as a business, sponsoring some events and things. But anyway, the area director I became friends with, and I'm like, you know young people that are looking for jobs. So we wanted to find somebody that could help with a website division.
Mm-hmm.
We had always outsourced that. So our clients would constantly say, do you guys do websites? And we would say no.
Yeah.
And we would refer. And this was probably going on, a good 8 years prior to 2020. And inevitably that referring partner would change their model, their business model, or something would change and they could no longer. So then we'd have to find somebody else. So in 2020, I was introduced to Braden, and he was still in school. So he started part-time with me, and then in 2021 went full-time, and he has created another division, our digital marketing division.
That's the one I know about.
You familiar?
A little bit.
Okay. And Braden's, he is really sharp guy, great with the clients. He's very task oriented, mature beyond his years. So he was able to help out some existing clients that needed help right away. And then of course, as we took the service in-house, it became easy for Bob and I, the account managers, when we're out visiting our clients, they're asking for this, for that. We're like, hey, we can do that now.
Yeah.
In-house, which
Right.
is so different because it's your own people, it's your own culture, which is, it's so much better. So, one led to two, and I guess since full-time 21, we're 2.5, 3 years in now.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably doing website SEO, digital marketing work for 40 to 50 IT Edge clients that were already ours. And then just through your collective efforts with search engine and getting Google hits, we have at least another 10, 15 more who we only met them through digital marketing. So, what a great place to be. IT's running strong. We have the software development side, and now we have the digital marketing side. So that's kind of the growth. And then one last piece that I would say, in 2020, we decided to move our IT platform from a break-fix solution to a managed solution.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is we have our monitoring software on every client's workstations. There's a lot more proactive. There's better antivirus. So it's you pay per device, but you have a fixed monthly cost for the setup and support of everything.
Okay.
Versus, bills that vary. So we still have legacy clients who are on the old plan. We're not forcing them because many of them would say we can't do it.
Right.
And then we would lose them. And to be honest, that's how I've gotten a lot of business over the years, where clients, typically two reasons. The number one reason is response time. There's other companies out there that definitely have the technical prowess, but they're lacking in the professional skills to communicate. You can't fix everybody the first minute they call.
Right.
But you can talk to them, just let them know when it'll get handled. And we have enough of a staff where we like to have people available should something happen. So our response time definitely has separated us from some competitors. And other competitors have said, we're forcing everybody into a managed plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then so an office would be like, wow, I was paying X, now you want me to pay Y, no can do. They start looking around, and then, we come into the picture and get referred. So we had built up over the years a lot of clients that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2020, we just said, any new clients will be managed. We'll keep our old clients who are not managed. And that has worked out well. I believe that platform's better. Everything's covered, so any kind of billing questions or issues they don't have to worry about. They can call unlimited. And the fact that we're more proactive with the client, we're out every 6 months, we're monitoring things through software. It just is a better relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Less surprises, which makes everybody happy.
Right.
So, that's kind of been the thrust. We're really focused in that way. And again, continue to just feed off of referrals, some Google searches, and are taking, 1 to 2 clients on per month.
Well, it sounds great. I mean, I know that personally, my time here at ITH has been wonderful. It's been a very positive, fostering environment.
Good to hear.
Yeah, it's a lot of encouragement to learn. And I know I've learned so much since just working with Braden. And learned so much right here. So thank you for coming and sharing the story about IT Edge. I know
My pleasure.
I enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody else will too.
All right, no, thank you for your time.
Of course. Thanks, Walt.
Okay.